National Security Minister amid claims the acting parliamentary commissioner was removed and reassigned. Monroe provides clarity. The details on these stories and so much more as our News Live at 7 starts now. This is our News Live at 7. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. Amid fallout from Cuban healthcare, labor, foreign affairs minister Fred Mitchell is now weighing in, reiterating that the Bahamas has not violated any international labor laws with the program. It comes days after Prime Minister Philip Davis said his administration was looking into the claims. The matter blew up after U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced visa sanctions against governments that are part of Cuba's overseas medical missions. Mitchell said a check was done.
We responded yesterday formally to the démarche, and sometime within the next week or so, we expect to invite them over to the ministry, foreign ministry, and all of the constituent ministries will provide a comprehensive briefing about what the labor practices are, and they will, I believe, support what our principal position is there's no violation of the labor norms.
CARICOM leaders have banded together on this issue. Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley said she is willing to give up her U.S. visa if the need arises, citing the positive impact of Cuban health care during the COVID-19 pandemic. We asked Mitchell if our government is considering the same position.
We have a good working relationship with the United States of America. Our presumption and assumption is that we're dealing with rational actors, and the truth will out. The truth is the truth, and that's it.
Well, a heated scene outside the City of Freeport local government office this morning as a small group gathered to protest against recently sworn-in Chief Counselor Kendall Culmer Jr. The crowd demanding Culmer's resignation after a voice note reportedly from 4 years ago was recently leaked.
Don't come here making no problem. Go in your car, buddy.
VC,
all right, go in your car.
Oh, what you do?
So don't come here making no problem.
I can do what I want.
Don't come here making no.
Grand's Bahamian and protest organizer Richard Johnson says protesters are demanding the chief counselor step down as they believe comments made in that voice note are disparaging and disrespectful to Bahamian women.
And so we don't believe that he's fit for office. We don't believe that language is fit for office. That character is fit for office. When you are a public servant, your job is to serve the people. Your job is to ensure that you protect and you serve everybody. I don't care what color, what creed, what religion, what politics they are.
And here's a part of that voice note that sparked the protest.
I just realized something. That's an educated woman who just got a college degree, and half of y'all barely graduate high school. So that woman of Haitian descent, smarter than yours friggin' raw-born Bahamian woman. And that's the problem with this country today.
Since making its rounds, Culmer has since made 2 apologies online and resigned as an executive member from the F&M's Marco City Association. Part of his response reads, quote, 4 years ago, in response to verbal attacks on my wife, who I was dating at the time, I made an unacceptable and deeply hurtful remark. Even though I was seeking to respond to those who attacked her, it was disrespectful and hurtful to them and all other Bahamian women, including my wife. End quote. Protesters say they chose to stand up for all Bahamian women and believe under no circumstances was Culmer's comments acceptable.
No matter your feelings, no matter how hurt 4 women hurt you or talked bad, walk away. You could have said nothing.
But we deserve respect. Even his wife deserves respect. For the accusation that he throws out, it hurts.
We have to say to our young people, you don't speak certain filthy, nasty things and then say, oh, I didn't mean it that way. It's wrong. You ought to suffer the consequences.
However, businessman and resident Vernal Colbrook says he believes Culmer deserves a second chance, noting that since the voice note was originally made some 4 years ago, Culmer remains as local government counselor. He is questioning the motives and timing of the release.
I know the man. I know he means well. I know he loves his country. All of us, at some point in time in our lives, have done some dumb things, as in the Bible. He without sin, throw the first stone. How many times must you punish him? Must he be killed, cast into the dungeon? because some words he used, 2 years ago? The question was asked the other day, how long did this voice note come out? 2 years. We must pause for a moment and think, is there a hidden agenda from others?
Now we reached out to Chief Counselor Kendall Culmer for a response to today's protests. However, he declined to comment at this moment. Meantime, police in Eleuthera have a death investigation on their hands tonight after the body of a man was found in the area near BPL in Governor's Harbor. Our news team secured exclusive footage from the scene. Details surrounding the man's death up to news time remain unclear. However, we continue to follow and provide updates as they become available. And an American tourist who injured a security guard during an argument with his sister has been granted a conditional discharge. Florida resident Adrian Martin pleaded guilty to causing harm at his arraignment before Assistant Chief Magistrate Carolyn Vo Evans. The charge stems from a March 16th incident at the Sandals Resort. The court heard that Martin slammed a door and smashed the guard's finger. The 40-year-old was ordered to pay $500 in compensation to his victim to avoid spending 2 months behind bars. Well, spring break is in full swing, and that means thousands of visitors are flocking to beaches across the country. Water sports operators say while business is good year-round, it's even better during March. But what about safety concerns? Our Joshua Williams spoke to several of those operators today about why they're upgrading safety measures.
For college students, spring break is a time for fun and adventure. For water sports operators, it's one of the busiest times of the year. Whether it's jet ski riding, parasailing, or other forms of water fun, the safety of spring breakers is top of mind for these business owners. Renrick Roll Jr., owner of Action 242 Water Sports, says this time of year they're especially careful.
So we have waiver forms that they sign, make sure they are insured and everything before they go out there. We give them full instructions on the jet skis to make sure they are safe as they can be while they're out there. We make sure they tell them stay spread out, far apart. We don't want anything to happen that would cost us any more than we need to happen.
He recounted an incident where 2 American women claimed they were sexually assaulted in Grand Bahama last year, February. He says it was a wake-up call for those in the industry.
Yes, it's always discouraging when something like that happens because as an operator for almost 15 years now, full-time, it's sad to see things like that happen, and especially you have news spreads all over the world. And for tourism to be the #1 industry and some things like that to happen, that's very bad for our country.
Roll says it's important to be responsible, a message he makes clear to his workers, adding that they have to be on guard, protecting not just their customers, but also themselves and their country's reputation.
My workers always be professional, no matter what happens. If a person looks like they are under intoxication or influence, tell them to have a nice day. You don't need to interact with their business and stuff like that. If you see someone is trying to make advances on you, being the opposite sex or whatever, make sure, tell them you're a professional worker. You're only here to give them a service for the business that we have, and that's it. Anything other than that can get you in trouble, so always be very careful.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks so much for that, Josh. Well, we've still got lots more to share this evening, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures with meteorologist Greg Thompson. Greg, happy hump day.
Happy hump day. Of course, that story just now, we're urging you, if you're doing any boating or beaching, especially on the Atlantic side, it's going to be very hazardous out there. And we do have quite a bit of swell activity out. So some of that may make it through the gaps, influencing some of the weather across the rest of the chain of islands. So do exercise caution. 75 degrees is our current temperature. Another beautiful evening setting up for us. Mostly clear skies, north-northwest winds at 7 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 74. Temperatures around the islands right now: 73 in Freeport, Grand Bahama, 74 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. Also in Bimini, Alistown, we have 73 there. 76s, Nicholstown, Andros, Great Harper Key, and over in Governor's Harbor. Central Bahamas, 75. Kemps Bay, 76 in Arthurstown, Cat Island, Georgetown, the Exumas, Deadman's Key, Long Island. Coburn Towns in Salvador, 73, and into the southeast Bahamas, 76. Once again in Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, Delectable Bay. 77 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, Abrahams Bay, 75. Matthewtown, Inagua, 75, and our very good neighbors to the southeast, Tricks and Caicos Islands, you guys are 77 at this hour. Satellite radar composite, dry air mass in place. That's going to be prevailing for the next 24 hours before we do see a front and that high pressure is going to be sitting across us. Winds are going to start falling off, but we do have a big low pressure system out there in the open Atlantic. If you notice, some clouds are on the top right of your screen. That is providing the swells. So we are asking you beachgoers and your boaters along the Atlantic exposures not to get in the waters. We're expecting some very large swells, possibly even up to 12 feet along those coastlines. That's your first look at us. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still coming.
Coming up in sports, we look back at a pair of Bahamian basketball icons that played their last NCAA tournament game 1 year apart against the same team.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. A pair of Bahamian basketball icons traveled through the pipeline of the Family Islands to Lon Morris Junior College to the NCAA tournament. Oddly enough, the final game of their collegiate careers came on this day 1 year apart against the same team. On March 19, 1992, a Lutheran native Dexter Cambridge and the Texas Longhorns lost a heartbreaker to the Iowa Hawkeyes in the opening round of the NCAA tournament, 98-92. Cambridge finished with 16 points and 8 rebounds in the loss. A first-team All-Southwest Conference selection, he averaged 21.7 points and 8.7 rebounds per game as a senior and went on to play for the Dallas Mavericks the following season. The following year, on March 19, 1993, Ryan Stewart and what was then Northeast Louisiana, but is now Louisiana Monroe, lost 82-69 to the Hawkeyes in the opening round. Stewart, the Grand Bahama native, finished with 20 points and 5 rebounds. He averaged over 21 points per game in each of his 2 seasons with ULM, led the team to 2 tournament appearances, and was inducted into the program's Hall of Fame.
That was back then. Here's what's coming up in Our Sports tonight. Buddy Hield scores 15 to help the Warriors restart their win streak. Brent Moss and Willis Mackey Jr. look ahead to the JUCO National Tournament. Genesis Academy wins the BSAA meet, and JJ makes their season debut in China.
That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as negotiations are ongoing to align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs for peace. Plus, a surprise attack shattering a ceasefire in place since January, threatening to fully reignite a 17-month-old war between Israel and Gaza. And from the region, authorities in the Dominican Republic seized over 50 articles of cocaine-soaked clothing during an inspection operation at the airport. We have the details when our news returns.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement. That arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision is actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th only on RTV.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.
Welcome back to our news. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. U.S. President Donald Trump says he discussed Russian and Ukrainian requests and needs for a peace deal in an hour-long call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said much of the discussion was based on the call made yesterday with President Putin in order to align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs. The conversation came a day after Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin had a 90-minute phone call to discuss the ongoing dispute between the European countries. On the heels of those calls, Moscow and Kyiv exchanged prisoners of war today. Authorities say 175 Ukrainian soldiers had been swapped for 175 Russian servicemen. Moscow had handed over an additional 22 heavily wounded Ukrainian prisoners in need of urgent medical care. Israel launched airstrikes across the Gaza Strip, killing hundreds of Palestinians, including women and children. The surprise attack shattered a ceasefire in place since January and threatened to fully reignite the 17-month-old war. More than 400 people were killed, according to Palestinian authorities, and 562 others injured. The Gaza government media office said entire families were among the victims, noting that ambulances and civil defense teams are unable to bring all victims to hospitals. In a national address, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that combat in Gaza has resumed with full force.
Hamas is responsible for this war. It invaded our towns, murdered our people, raped our women, and kidnapped our loved ones. Hamas refused offer after offer to release our hostages. In the past 2 weeks, Israel did not initiate any military action in the hope that Hamas would change course. Well, that didn't happen. Israel does not target Palestinian civilians. We target Hamas terrorists. And when these terrorists embed themselves in civilian areas, when they use civilians as human shields, they're the ones who are responsible for all unintended casualties.
NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams returned to Earth in a SpaceX capsule on Tuesday evening with a soft splashdown off Florida's coast. This 9 months after their faulty Boeing Starliner craft upended what was to be a week-long stay on the International Space Station. Wilmore and Williams had strapped inside their Crew Dragon spacecraft along with 2 other astronauts and undocked from the orbiting laboratory of the ISS at 1:05 a.m. to embark on a 17-hour trip to Earth. After the splashdown, the astronauts were flown to their crew quarters at the space agency's Johnson Space Center in Houston. They're expected to undergo several days of health checks. And authorities at Cibao International Airport in the Dominican Republic seized over 50 articles of cocaine-soaked clothing during an inspection operation on Tuesday. The items were discovered during the luggage screening of a Spanish national who was headed to Madrid. The operation, carried out by agents of the National Drug Control Directorate and members of the Specialized Airport Security Corps, was coordinated by the Public Prosecutor's Office. Among the seized items were 22 T-shirts, 18 coats, 9 pants, 2 flannels, a blanket, and 2 drink containers. Grenada's Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell has asked the nation to keep former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell in their prayers following a medical emergency at a public event. Dr. Keith Mitchell, the former Prime Minister and current Member of Parliament for St. George and Northwest, collapsed during a People's Parliament session at Happy Hill Secondary School. The Office of the Prime Minister of Grenada quickly issued a statement addressing the incident. In the statement, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell extended his best wishes to him and his family and wished Dr. Mitchell a speedy recovery. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was March 19th. And then in our news at 7:30, Grand Bahamians continue to grapple with thick clouds of smoke as a massive fire burned for miles across the island. The Grand Bahama Minister is weighing in. Those details when our news returns.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not 1, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams. You all...
On this day in Bahamian history, on the 19th of March, 1798, Joseph Eve was awarded the contract to construct a jail in the town of Nassau. Eve was a loyalist from Pennsylvania who came to the Bahamas after the American War of Independence. He was also an inventor and architect. In addition to designing the prison in Nassau, which is now the Nassau Public Library on Shirley Street, he also designed St. Matthew's Anglican Church on Shirley Street and Church Street. The jail's design was inspired by the old Powder magazine in Williamsburg, Virginia, United States. Then in 2014, chaos erupted in the House of Assembly after a Misty Gardens resident had to be restrained by then House Speaker Dr. Kendall Major and eventually dragged out of the House of Assembly. The drama unfolded as she attempted to snatch the mace outside of the mace bearer's hand as he and the HOA Speaker walked into the House for an official sitting of Parliament. Janice Curtis was later taken into police custody, where she reportedly told police God told her to take the mace. She was banned from the House of Assembly for a year and faced a $600 fine. Fast forward to 2020, a few days after the country recorded its first confirmed COVID case. Then Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announced the first of several COVID curfews. The curfew mandated that residents across the country remain indoors for the next 11 days between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m., and that business operations, with few exceptions, be suspended. The then Prime Minister told the nation that the measures were needed to prevent the spread of COVID-19. He gave the order a day after presenting sweeping emergency COVID-19 powers in the House of Assembly.
All right, well, to watch that recap again and for all of today's top stories, be sure to visit ournews.bs. That does it for our news live at 7. Joining us now is our Italia Hall with the latest headlines. Italia?
Thanks so much, Megan. Well, coming up, as Grand Bahama continues to grapple with thick smoke throughout portions of the island, the Grand Bahama minister is commending residents for their support. Plus, the Red Bull Global Aerial Performance Training Camp moves to West End. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on our News Live at 7:30, the National Security Minister addressing claims surrounding the transfer of the acting parliamentary commissioner. Meanwhile, the opposition is demanding answers. Also, almost 2 days after a major brush fire in Grand Bahama, thick smoke continues to cover some communities in the Lucaya area. The Minister for Grand Bahama gives an update on the situation. Plus, a man accused of killing his girlfriend and her teenage daughter will not go to trial in May as originally scheduled. We have courtroom details coming up. And later, lots of questions were raised following the discovery of a fetus on Paradise Island last week. Tonight, the Department of Social Services say there is help available. Our Joshua Williams has the story when our News Live at 7:30 returns.
Diet-friendly special.
Once I had a gal, she called me pain. Left me in the cold and pouring rain. So I decided to put her down. I took a trip to Cuban town.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-177.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Italia Hall. The National Security Minister is seeking to clear the air over the transfer of the acting parliamentary commissioner amid claims he was removed. Meanwhile, the opposition is demanding answers on the matter. Our Bethany McDermott reports.
Amid talks, acting parliamentary commissioner Arthur Taylor has been removed and reassigned to another government agency. National Security Minister Wayne Munro is telling a different story. Munro says when he returned from vacation this week, he was advised Taylor had sought and been granted vacation leave.
I've been advised that he had written not to me
but to OPM asking for a transfer. And in due course, no doubt the documents will be forwarded to the ministry and we'll have a look at them.
It is unclear where Taylor will be transferred to. The news comes after heavy criticism of the department's handling of the recent local government elections under his watch, which was smeared by delays, ballot errors, and administrative missteps across multiple family islands. Monroe did not say if this played a part in his transfer. Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard called the matter concerning.
We want to avoid any appearance of impropriety by this government relative to how the election is going to be executed. And so it is my concern that they have moved this gentleman without explaining to the public in a fulsome way what are the underlying issues.
The National Security Minister was asked if he was satisfied with Taylor's performance and his handling of the local government election. To that, he responded this way.
You can always do a better job at everything. After every election, when I came into office after the general election, the then parliamentary commissioner provided me with a report where he critiqued the things they did well, the things that raised issues, and he suggested things that can be improved. And that is what I would have been awaiting from the local government election.
With the next general election nearing, the government will have to appoint someone to the post. Monroe could not say when this would happen. Meanwhile, the FNM leader is also claiming the government has retained a Canadian company to manage significant aspects of the election process. However, Monroe shot that down.
No company, local or foreign, has been engaged to manage any election, local, government, or general.
Reporting for our news, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks so much, Berthany. Well, residents in the Lucaya area of Grand Bahama are still grappling with heavy smoke lingering from Monday evening's bushfire, which continues to impact visibility in the Midshipman Road area and their daily routine. Some residents telling us it was difficult to get to work this morning. Take a look at these exclusive photos and videos sent to our news. The fire, which erupted near Midshipman Road, prompted a response from local fire services and residents as the fire came close to some homes. The blaze also disrupted electricity and left streetlights in the road. Now authorities have issued warnings to motorists to drive with caution, reduce speed, and use headlights when traversing the affected areas. Well, Minister for Grand Bahama Ginger Moxie addressing reporters outside of the House of Assembly this morning, providing an update on the ongoing fire situation on the island. Minister Moxie assuring the public that the Royal Bahamas Police Force has been working diligently to contain the fires. She confirmed that 2 fully operational fire trucks, along with fire department partners, are actively engaged in firefighting efforts to ensure the situation remains under control. She's also commending the community for their support.
I know that there has been power outages as well because of it, and I heard recently from the COO of the Grand Bahama Power Company, and they have gotten that under control as well. I think just 1% have still not received power, and so the power company is working on that. So I would say that all stakeholders have come on board and working closely to ensure that we make it through this. But for in the broader scheme of things, we are working collaboratively also as a cabinet to ensure that in moving forward we're able to address this throughout not just Grand Bahama Island but the country, because there are also fires on other islands like Abaco.
Well, a man accused of killing his girlfriend and her teenage daughter will not go to trial in May as previously scheduled. Blake Strawn appeared before Senior Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson for a hearing ahead of his trial that was set to begin on May 4th. However, the date was vacated due to the ongoing bribery trial of FNM MP Adrian Gibson that occupied the court's calendar since November 2023. Strawn's trial is now set for May 2026 and he remains in custody. Prosecutors say Strawn fatally stabbed his girlfriend Allison Thompson and her 14-year-old daughter Trevonica Thompson. They were last seen alive at their Ross Corner apartment on April 11, 2023. Meantime, the recent case of a fetus found on Paradise Island last week raising questions about available resources for pregnant women. Tonight, the Department of Social Services is reminding residents they are there to assist and to provide a number of services through the Child Protection Unit. Our Joshua Williams has those details.
Last week, a fetus was found wrapped in plastic floating in waters near an Ocean Club dock. And although she couldn't speak to last week's case specifically, Chief Welfare Officer attached to the Child Protection Unit in the Department of Social Services, Andrea Newbold, says mothers that don't want their babies have options.
The Department of Social Services have a unit would deal with adoptions and foster care. So we would like for the public to know if you're pregnant, you have unwanted pregnancy, and you don't know what to do, we have those units where you can come at Prime Plaza, East Street South, and talk to an officer. We provide counseling.
So what happens if the department finds children abandoned?
Oftentimes, children of that character or that characteristic, we normally place them into protective care, and by law, we have to place them into protective care, and they are sheltered at one of our residential care facilities, or if we know of family members who are willing to take these children in, we normally place them with family members because we do believe that children should be with families.
And while unwanted births have dominated headlines, the department still grapples with other challenges.
Where back in the days, we didn't have much cases, but today, there are a lot of cases that are being reported of abuse of children, and so it's very difficult.
And while the department deals with cases like this every day, it's important for them to not lose that also important human touch.
They know that they are in a position where their backs are against the wall and they don't know what to do. And so as a mother, and also I could add a trained social worker, we provide the counseling, and we let them know we understand that, this is difficult for you.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Josh. Well, beautiful weather in the capital, but will it last for the rest of the work week? Meteorologist Greg Thompson is live in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg, what's the answer?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Even though we expect another front by Friday, that front is going to be moisture-starved, but it will reinforce the conditions we've been having for the last couple of days. So beautiful weather for the remainder of the week, and that will also take us into the weekend. 75 degrees outside our studios right now in the mostly clear skies. The winds out of the northwest actually, at 7 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 74. High pressure. The dominant weather feature across the area, dry air mass in place. The relative humidity is basically way down there. Of course, we are urging you to exercise caution. We've been having some fires. We mentioned that earlier in the newscast. But we also have a very large low pressure system, a gale center out there, that's going to be providing us with some very large swells. They will be affecting the easternmost side of the islands and the Atlantic exposure. So we're asking you beachgoers and your boaters to exercise extreme caution. As a matter of fact, we don't want you to be in the water on the Atlantic side. We expect some swells up to 10 to 12 feet along those areas, so do exercise caution. In the meantime, another front is expected on Thursday late and Friday, and that's going to keep us very nice for the remainder of the week. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, the second Freeport Fashion Week is being dubbed a major success. We'll take you inside the event coming up. Also, Island Luck and Ultra Games employees are reaffirming their commitment to responsible gaming with a major donation aimed at helping those battling gambling addiction. And later, over 40 aerobatic pilots took to the skies over Grand Bahama for the Red Bull Global Aerial Performance Training Camp. And that's all coming up when our news returns.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola is ready to give you a summer of fun with over $20,000 in cash and prizes. Upgrade your premium lunch combo to a medium or a large, or purchase a large salad with a Coke for a chance to win amazing prizes like a 50-inch TV and soundbar, a staycation at Comfort Suites, or a $3,000 Going Places travel voucher. Enter online at Wendy's Bahamas Facebook page for a chance to win.
In the Bahamas, island time is real. The history of Morris Lumber Company, established in 1945, is etched into the fabric of this proud island nation. It's a story that deserves to be celebrated in full color, and that's where we come in. Morris the Paint Place has been bringing color and vitality to homes and businesses across the Bahamas. Here, color is more than just a hue, it's a symbol of life. Together, we can paint a brighter future.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X Package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button.
Island Luck and Ultra Games employees reaffirming their commitment to responsible gaming with a significant donation aimed at helping those battling gambling addiction. The gaming operators presented a $30,000 donation to Sandilands Rehabilitation Center as a part of Gambling Addiction Awareness Month. Island Luck Marketing Vice President Kenny Mackey.
For us, this is more than just a donation. It is a commitment to responsible gaming, a commitment to the well-being of our players, a commitment to ensuring that we are not just the industry leaders that profit from gaming, but we also understand the impact and is willing to step forward and be a part of the ever-evolving solutions. At Island Luck, we believe that responsible gaming and mental health go hand in hand. Gambling should always be a source of fun and entertainment, not financial hardships and distress. That's why we continue to invest in initiatives that promote awareness, education, and intervention for those who may be struggling.
The Sandilands Rehabilitation Center continues to play a critical role in addressing addiction in the country, providing resources, guidance, and support to those in need. Senior Nursing Officer Paulette Dean highlighted the importance of prevention efforts, especially among young people.
We realize there's a problem in the schools at this time, with anecdotal evidence, of course, of the increase with substance use and gambling in the school system. So we're hoping that this session will bring awareness, will provide an outlet and for educating the students and teachers who will be in attendance about the significance of being aware of gambling.
And now to this week's City in Focus. Freeport Fashion Week has been dubbed a huge success, celebrating the creativity and talent within the country's orange economy. The second annual event brought together designers, models, and fashion enthusiasts. Let's take a look. The energy was electric at Freeport Fashion Week in Grand Bahama over the weekend, as the highly anticipated event proved to be a success. The three-day event began on Friday, March 14th at the Stone Crab Restaurant with a glamorous opening night fashion show drawing a large crowd from the Grand Bahama community. These models sharing their experience.
I got the tremendous opportunity to model for D'Angelo. I had a fun time. It was great. The vibes were good. I feel like I'm at New York Fashion Week.
I loved it. It was my first time being on stage.
While attendees praised the show's excellence.
I have to say that this was absolute perfection. Yes. They did a fantastic job. The models were just so professional and beautiful, and the outfits were so well designed.
This designer, Anthea Bullard of Hard Art Collection, shared her creative inspiration.
We're celebrating 70 years of Freeport's anniversary. I did not do the platinum glamour. I'm never one to follow the rules, so I went against the platinum glamour and I did red. But it's just about love, passion, some sauciness.
Designer of Rafaelita, David Roll, commended the mega fashion event.
Freeport has so much talent. We around the Bahamas know Freeport as the pageant capital, the show capital.
Chairman of Freeport Fashion Week, Fatima Zara Kaboub, is proud of the event's success.
I'm completely blown away by the designers this year. Last year, I think no one really knew what we were doing, and we knew what to do, but everyone was a little bit like stepping into, they didn't know what to expect. But this year they knew what to expect, so the designers came up with this wonderful clothes.
When our news comes back from the break, the skies over Grand Bahama were buzzing. This as 40 top aerobatic pilots performed stunts at the Red Bull Aerial Performance Training Camp.
Coming up in sports, a big night for Buddy Buckets, a look at the JUCO tournament brackets, Genesis Academy Track and Field celebrates another win, and JJ makes her season debut in China.
And Greg is back as your extended weather when our news returns. Stay with us.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. After a few off nights, one that included the end of their win streak, Buddy Hield was back on track, and so were the Golden State Warriors. Hield scored 15 points and shot 4 for 6 from three-point range in the Warriors' 104-93 win over the Milwaukee Bucks last night at the Chase Center in San Francisco. Golden State improved to 5-1 on their current 7-game homestand. With 13 games left in the regular season, the Warriors are 40-39, remaining in the 6th slot in the Western Conference. Their homestand concludes Thursday night against the Toronto Raptors.
The madness isn't only limited to the NCAA, where Bahamians are looking to make their mark in the JUCO National Championships. Brent Moss and the 14th-ranked Barton College Community College Cougars received an at-large bid and the 9th seed for the 2025 NJCAA Division I National Tournament. The defending national champion Cougars will take a 25-8 record into the tournament's second day of action. Opening play at noon Sunday, March 23rd against Atlantic District champion and 24th seed Brunswick Community College. In 32 games this season, Moss has averaged 16.9 points and 10.2 rebounds per game, both team highs. Former national team standout Willis Mackey Jr. is an assistant coach on the staff for Chipola College. Seeded number 13, Chipola will face the number 20th seed, Monroe University, in the first-round matchup March 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Chipola earned an at-large bid after they finished the season 24-7 with 4 wins against ranked opponents. Chipola has won 2 consecutive conference championships and has now made 4 consecutive appearances in the NJCAA tournament.
For the 3rd consecutive meet, Genesis Academy can claim the spot as the top track and field program in the Bahama Scholastic Athletic Association. Genesis led the field with 916.5 points to finish first at last week's meet at the original Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. Telios Christian was second with 820.5 points. McCaffrey International was third with 751. Kingsway Academy finished 4th with 557, and Noble Prep rounded out the top 5 with 520 points. Genesis finished 2nd in the senior division with 529.5 points, and 2nd among juniors with 355 points. Telios was the top school among seniors with 668.5 points, while Kingsway won the juniors with 512 points.
Jonquil Jones made a much-anticipated debut for the most dominant team in the Women's Chinese Basketball Association. Jones averaged 10.6 points in limited minutes to help Szechuan to a 3-game sweep over Zhangzhou in the quarterfinals. In Game 1, she scored 9 points and an 87-63 win. In Game 2, it was 12 points and 8 rebounds and a 100-70 win. And in the series finale, she scored 11 points and grabbed 5 rebounds in a 96-57 win. Szechuan will go on to face Shanxi in the semifinals. Game 1 tips off March 22nd.
That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. All right, we're in the 11th hour. You filled out all your brackets yet?
No, but I got Kentucky winning it all. That's a lie.
Should have been the truth. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, the Red Bull Global Aerial Performance Training Camp made its debut in West End recently. We have more details coming up. Also, beautiful weather today, but what's in store for the rest of the work week? Craig is back with the answer when our news continues. Stay with us. Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision's actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th only on RTV.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.
Diet-friendly special.
Once I had a gal, she called me pain. Left me in the cold and pouring rain. So I decided to put her down. I took a trip to Cuban town.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook.
This is our news. Welcome back. Beautiful weather we've been enjoying for the last couple of days will remain with us as a high-pressure system sits across the Florida Peninsula, and that's going to continue to dominate our weather with nice and dry weather conditions, and we expect that to continue through the remainder of the week, even though we expect the front to be getting in here by Thursday. That front is basically moisture-starved. We don't see much in terms of any clouds associated with the system moving towards the south and east, but another feature in the Atlantic, big low-pressure system that's swirling out there. That's going to provide us with some very hazardous boating and beaching conditions affecting mainly the Atlantic exposures, and some of those swells could be moving through some of the gaps of the island. So we're asking you boaters not to get into the Atlantic waters, and you beachgoers, we don't want you in the waters as well along the Atlantic exposures, as well as the Glass Window Bridge. You may see some overtopping waves along that area, but do exercise extreme caution over the next couple of days. Speaking of that weak frontal boundary, that low pressure system out there in the Atlantic will stay towards the east and away from us, but a very weak frontal boundary, as I mentioned, will be approaching us by Thursday evening, and then by Friday morning we expect it to push through the capital and swing out towards the east. Not really doing much in terms, but nice weather expected once that front goes through for the weekend. Boating forecast, small craft advisory for the Atlantic exposures. As a matter of fact, we don't want you to get in the waters there. High rip current risk. The winds will be variable at 5 to 10 knots in the northwest Bahamas, occasionally southwesterly. Seas 2 to 4 feet, but building up to 10 feet along those Atlantic exposures. High tide is at 12:14 in the morning. Low tide is at 6:41 tomorrow morning as well. Central and southeast Bahamas are more north to northeast flow at 10 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet, but they will be building even higher, up to 12 feet along Atlantic exposures. So it's going to be very rough, and that will continue through the remainder of the week. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, yes, beautiful weather expected. Temperatures will top near the 80-degree mark tomorrow, but once that front goes through, 70s expected through the remainder of the week and into the weekend. And of course, temperatures will be rebounding back to near the 80-degree mark for the early part of next week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much, Craig. Well, the Red Bull Global Aerial Performance Training Camp recently made its way to West Grand Bahama. For the first time, the camp lit up the skies over West End, showcasing around 40 aerobatic pilots performing daring stunts in high-performance aircraft, along with skydivers, wingsuit flyers, and paragliders. This annual training camp brings together top aerial and aviation athletes from across the world. Our news team was in West End to capture some of the breathtaking action. Team member Miles Dasher shared more about the camp.
It's just been amazing. You couldn't have picked a better place with more beautiful colors in the sky and in the water right here. So yeah, we've got athletes from around the world. We've got the Red Bull Air Force from America, of course, and we've got athletes from Austria, Chile, France, Argentina, all around the world. Everybody's coming here to get together and kind of up our game, if you will. We're prepping for air shows that we're going to do this year and in the future, and we're doing a really special project that you should see very soon.
General Manager of Old Bahama Bay, James Culmer, says the activity is exciting.
This year, Red Bull called us. I think they usually go to Nassau. They wanted to come here. It has been, they filled the hotel. There are a bunch of exciting people, a lot of planes, a lot of activities. It's been good for West End, good for the community.
All right, I love that for West End. Of course, to see that story again is available now at ournews.bs. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.
Hello, I'm Jerome Sawyer, and thank you so much for watching. Don't